Top of the morning to you. I hope you're all fine and dandy and staying ahead of the game. Remember, it is a game, and each one of us must play our part. Hello and welcome, and we're opening today's YouTube video on post with the heavens, and what we're looking at here is Leo, Cancer, Gemini, and we can see right now that Jupiter, Jehovah and the Sun are together on the arm of Betelgeuse and a way to strike the Taurus. So it's an important, significant time, and especially so as I put out this post. Now, I put out some posts on my Facebook page which I will share. In here I will add little pictures to this corner up here, showing you that Taurus is the Campsies and Fintry in the back of Glasgow is here. This is Orion, and Orion is the lower area of Strathclyde, Ayrshire and so forth. And Taurus, and as we can see for this image, is here, is Glasgow. Aries is the Lamb, which is Edinburgh. And I have just done some posts showing you that the physical landmass, what we understand as Lothian, is the Leviathan, Cetus, and that the post that I've just done is showing one of the fish here, and this fish is Leith, and the other fish here is Musselburgh and so on. And of course, if we look at Lindisfarne, the Holy Isle over here, and this area here, which would be the area that we understand as Melrose. So that is the beast, and anyone who knows, I just recently visited some friends in the Borders, and we came to this place at the Sammy Lang Centre, and the Sammy Lang Centre is right here, where Cetus the beast is holding on to the Eridanus, and the Sammy Lang Centre sits in the great river Eridanus, which is the river of the souls. And but I'm going to read from Anders Collins's book, and as we move over the sky we can see the Hydra. So bearing in mind that what we have here is Glasgow, Ayrshire and Arran, this area here, and so up here the gate of Cancer, or the gate of Cancer, we have Hydra. And of course the gate of Cancer is possibly now in the summertime, I'm sure. So the gate of Cancer, which is of course the 69, the yin and yang that we see on the Masonic drum board, the three pillars of masonry being Libra, Cancer, Leo and Aries. So what we're going to look at now is this asterism Hydra, because the Hydra asterism, as you can see, connects with many of the beasts. So the beasts are the heaven, and the heavens are the 11 beasts that we hear in the Enuma Elish story. In the Babylonian creation story, Tiamat and Apsu go to war with the gods, and 11 beasts are created in the heavens, and Hydra is one of those beasts. Draco is the other beast, the main beast, which is Apsu, and Eridanus is a beast, Cetus is a beast, what's her name with the snakes, Medusa is a beast in the heavens, the Scorpio is a beast in the heavens, and the dogs are the beasts in the heavens, the lands of Canaan. And then we have many other beasts disguised as other things under in the South Celestial Pole under the Argus Navi. But we're going to look at Anders Collins's book, Starstones and Scholars, and I'm going to read from his book. Let's see if we can get some of the stars up. Do we have any of the just the constellation lines? Okay. Do we have? We do. We have some stars. So we can maybe zoom in on the Hydra, because we're going to read from that, and let's see if we can get some stars. Oh. It's slow. Alfred and the Hydra. Alfred core Hydra. So I'm going to read from Eridanus Collins' book now, and we're looking at the Neolithic sites in Argyll, Mull, Skye, Uist, Harris and Lewis, which mark Leo, Hydra, Vela, Carina of the Argus ship, Centaurus, Lupus and Scorpio, and this is discovered by and copyright of Eridanus Collins 2002. And in on this map here, I'll zoom in on this, you can see Lewis is Lysath, the trident of Scorpio, later the Stinger. Steenelchach is Lescat, the Cluach Trucial is Shalula, and I've actually done a post on this showing that the original idea of the destroyer isn't a Hindu, but the actual Trucial is marked here, the trident, Scorpio, the Stinger, and that's marked on Lewis here, we can see that here. So you've got Scorpio, the fishhook in Polynesia, Kalinish, Latvian, Galish, Galansh, End, Epsilon. There's a lot to read there, so I'm going to put it up and you can see. We've got Scorpio, Lupus, Centaurus, the Crux, Canis Major, Canis Minor, and we can see here that the Hydra begins at Achnacree in the summer solstice. So in the summer solstice, our ancestors, and what ancestors? Well, this book tells us star stones in Scotland. It's a decipherment of all the standing stones throughout the UK, and this book, written by Eridanus Collins, tells us that it was Jason and the Argonauts who put all the standing stones up to mark the places where the beasts, these beasts in the heavens, which would have been the electromagnetic charges coming down from the heavens. So these beasts are representative of the electromagnetic flow, and so the standing stones were set up in various areas to show where that bad energy made contact with the earth. So we're seeing here in this book here, it says Achnacree, summer solstice, 3116 BC. So Y marks strong Euler, which is another stone nearby, and Dermid stone, and then the other stones further down are showing you that's the Hydra. So this is a beast in the heavens, which is marked at Kilmartin Glen, and as we move further down you can see Kintraw, Torrin, Carnban, and then Kilmartin, Port Talloch, Ballymenoch, and it's quite interesting that Ballymenoch, the Hydra feeds into this other beast system known as the Great Eridanus, and these all feed into each other, feeding down through the rebel Orion. So these are the great rivers for Hades, and the Eridanus was seen as the great river for Hades. But these valleys where the standing stones are, Kilmartin Glen and such, that's a valley that represents the Hydra and the coils of Hydra, which would take you down to the Solway, and beyond the Solway takes you down, which is the Solway Firth. Beyond the Solway you would go down to the Eridanus, and the great Hadrian's Wall represents the Milky Way, but it also represents this part here of the tail, of the body, I should say, not the tail, of the great water serpent Eridanus, which was seen as the river of Hades. And these are the two pets of Hades. It's a Set, and this represents Set. Set is Sirius, but Set is also Cetus. It's a set, it's a group. and this three things work together to take you down the rabbit hole, to take you down the Lepus, to take you down back into the underworld. And our ancestors marked the stones here at Kilmartin Glen and other areas to show that it was the way down, and the energies to the underworld, and the energies that came from the North Celestial Pole, i.e. a plasma event, were seen as these great serpents or dragons which hit various hills. And this is what we're actually seeing here in the megalithic sites of Argyll, Mull, Skye, Uist, Harris and Lewis, especially here where it's marking the Hydra at Kilmartin Glen. So I hope this is useful and helpful for someone, and I'll put the images up and leave them up at the end, and we can continue reading that, or continue looking at that at your own pleasure. So the Callanus stones, on page 54, that was page 53 of Andis Collins' book, Star Stones and Scholars, and I'm looking at page 54, Harris, Lewis, Callanish, the Callanish Steen Akrit. Callanish is on the Isle of Lewis, and this explains the remarkable ground plan form of Callanish, Tursacan Callaneus, which is not exactly square, cross of stars at the end of Scorpio nearest to Virgo. The angle of the stones seem to correspond to the stellar angles found at the end of the stars of Scorpio. At this time, CE, CA 3117 BC, Antares was at the autumn equinox, and so marked the beginning of the cold period. The tall thin form of this stone shows the distance from Antares to the three end stars. Orkney equals Sagittarius. The Orkneys mark the stars of Sagittarius, the centre of the galaxy, celestial north in 3117 BC. The Orkneys are the major site north of Clava. This fits with ancient legends about the nearby stones of Brogda or Broga as being the temple of the sun, and the stones of Stennes or Stennis as being the temple of the moon. Through a large hole in the nearby stone of Odin, senselessly destroyed by our local inhabitants, couples used to clasp hands to seal their love, indeed for placement of Sagittarius. It is important to note that New Year's Day was celebrated in ancient times with feasting and dancing at these sites. The Shetlands itself represents the south stars of Pavel, Octans and Hydras. The conclusion for the archaeology of Scotland and worldwide is clear. The megaliths were geodetic markers triangulated by the stars, sun and moon. Cut marks on megalith stones or rocks, and stones as rock art represent the stars. Multiple ring worlds, contrary to completely misled and erroneous mainstream notions, actually mark empty vortex areas of the sky with few or no visible stars. The cut marks on a megalith shows the stars to which a megalith was sighted, or a region of the heavens to which a megalith site related. The position of a megalith in any given system, e.g. in a stone circle, was marked in terms of its orientation to the sky in a given era. Cut marks areas on larger rock art even show large fields and regions of stars, and some ancient sites even serve as complete planispheres, i.e. sky maps of the heavens. And we know that in Kilmartin Glen there is a large petroglyph site there, rock drawings and rock art, and it's all showing you the beast Hydra, and how Hydra moves, or the energy from the plasma event, the negative energy, moves over that valley, and how our ancestors marked it by marking Hydra and the Hydra asterism from Achnacrie in the north all the way down to Achnabrech and Camban in the bottom, which would take us down the Argos and down the citizenship that Argos na be. So I'll keep it short, leave it there.